everyone, so today's video I'm going to be doing number 2 of my weight loss diary. If you watched my video last week, which I'll have linked down below, you will know what this is all about, why I'm doing it and everything like that. I just want to say thank you to everybody who left really nice comments on that video. I love the fact that everyone was just really supportive, and you know, I feel like the first thing that you say to someone who says I want to lose weight is, oh no you don't, you're fine. And I just think that sometimes that's so discouraging, and especially after looking into it a lot more, I think that you'd be pretty surprised at how dangerous it can be to be not only overweight but also the amount of weight you have to be considered like obese and things like that. So I just think it's nice to help encourage people and offer your support rather than just say, you know, you don't need to lose weight, which I think is the easiest thing to say, but I don't always think it's the best thing to say. So there's quite a few things I want to talk about. I'm going to try and be as brief as possible, but what I'll do is in the description box I'll have each topic with the time marker of when I start talking about that. So if you just want to skip ahead to a certain part, or if you want to come back to this video and go back to a certain point, then you can do. If this is something that you wanted to do with me, or if this is something that you're interested into looking in for yourself, I'd just take some quick notes of the things that I talk about, and then obviously look into it for yourself. I briefly mentioned about BMI in my last video, and that's kind of the main thing that I initially started to think about. So I'm pretty much going to go through my thought process into starting this and what I did. This only took me one night, and it didn't even take me the whole night. So I know that sometimes it's easy to get caught up in all the planning of losing weight, but really you don't need that much planning at all. You just need to know what you need to do, and then you can go from there. It's a lot easier if you make it simple. So the first thing that I did was look into my BMI. If you don't know what your BMI is, it's your body mass index, and it just basically indicates as to whether or not you're carrying too much weight. The thing you need to bear in mind when looking up your BMI is that it won't tell you if you're carrying too much muscle compared to too much fat. Obviously that tends to be something which you should be able to tell for yourself. If it is something that you are unsure about, then I would advise to go to like your doctors and talk to them about it there, and they will be able to give you all the relevant information. But coming from my point of view, I know that it's fat. I don't work out, I don't have good muscle tone, I am just in general overweight. There are so many different websites. If you just Google BMI calculator, it comes up with loads. I went on maybe 20 different websites to just double check. Maybe 0.1 it was different, but all websites said the same thing about my BMI. And the website that I'm going to be referencing a lot from is the NHS website, which is obviously our National Health Services. So it is a pretty, what I would think is reliable website to give you all the relevant information that you do need. But as I said, if you do want to get some further information that will be useful to you, I'd go and see like a doctor or nutritionist or something like that. So my height is 5'4", so I'm pretty average height. So Saturday I weighed myself and I was 13 stone, 4 pounds and 4 ounces, which isn't the most I've ever been, but for me it's a lot. So I put in all the relevant information and it came up with a BMI of 31.9, which as I said is pretty much the same throughout every website. With your BMI you start off underweight. If your BMI is anything below 18.5 you are considered underweight. If your BMI is anywhere between 18.5 and 25, you are considered an ideal weight or a healthy weight. If your BMI goes from anywhere between 25 to 30, you are considered overweight. Anything above 30, you are considered obese. So obviously I am medically obese, which is definitely kind of puts things into perspective, because I feel like when you think about someone who is obese, you tend to think of somebody who is a lot larger than what they should be medically. So for me to actually be able to consider myself medically obese definitely was a bit of a shock. I'm going to be completely honest. So I do think that it's worth looking into. If you feel like you're a bit overweight, I would just check, because obviously being in that category, it can be dangerous for your health, which is obviously a reason why I'm trying to do something about it. That is my BMI. Also, on most of the BMI calculators, it will give you the weight that you should be to be put into the healthy category BMI. Someone of my height, a healthy weight would be anywhere between 7 stone and 10 pounds to 10 stone and 6 pounds. I have actually been that weight before, 10 stone, 6 pounds. So I have actually been a healthy weight, so I know it's somewhere that I can get. So once I established my BMI and what weights would be considered healthy, I decided to choose a target, something that I knew was realistic but would be the kind of thing that I'm aiming for. I've decided to go for 9 stone 7 pounds, which is 9.5 stone, which I feel like is a pretty manageable weight. It also gives me room to go below and above if that's something that I need to, and it's a realistic goal for myself. Once you've established what your BMI is and where you want to be, the next thing you need to do is look at your calorie intake. Obviously, I've got no idea how many calories I was eating, but I know I was eating a lot of food. On the NHS website, it does also give you the recommended calorie intake for someone of your weight, and it gives you quite a large spectrum. So for me, it gave me 1,664 to 2,139. And basically what it says is that if you want to lose weight, you stick to the lower end, and if you want to, sustain your weight, you stick to the higher end. I was definitely eating a lot more than 2,000 calories, that is for sure. I've gained weight over the last couple of months, so I've obviously increased it, and I've been eating a lot more than what my body could handle. Just again to kind of add a little bit of perspective and just make you see how much difference it can make. I also looked up my BMI as if I was a 5'10" person, so only 6 inches taller, and if I was 6 inches taller and weighed the exact same, my BMI would only be 26.6. So I wouldn't be obese, I would only be overweight. And my recommended calorie intake increased to 1,762 to 2,265, and a recommended healthy weight would be anywhere between 9 stone 3 pounds and 12 stone 7 pounds. So your height really can make a difference as to what is considered medically to be a healthy weight for you. That's why I really do think that it's something that is very interesting to look into, because I feel like you'd be surprised. I was definitely surprised when I looked into it for myself, and obviously the healthy weight range is very large, so it's not at all unrealistic. Now that I've done all that, I also, if you can search on Google a calorie calculator, and basically what that does is you put in your weight and your height and things like that, and it will sometimes tell you your BMI as well. But it also tells you how many calories you need to eat realistically to sustain that weight. So I would go on as many different websites as you can for this, because it does vary from website to website, unfortunately, and it was quite difficult to find something that seemed realistic. But I generally got the gist that it was about 2,200 calories for me to sustain the weight that I am now. Then what I did is use that exact same calorie calculator to see how many calories it would take for me to sustain a 9.5 stone version of myself. And the difference, again, it did vary, but I generally got a gist of between 1,700 calories and 1,800 calories. So, I'd got a rough idea, and basically the thought process behind that was, if I eat what would sustain a 9.5 version of myself, it wouldn't be unhealthy, but it would allow me to lose that weight. Not only would it allow me to lose that weight, but then once I get to 9.5 stone, I can just sustain it. Obviously, it's not completely as easy as that, but I had to break it down simply to allow myself to then be able to plan out what I was going to do. So I'd definitely look into that. Obviously, you can tweak it if you want to. If you're on a diet that is around 2,200 calories, going down to 1,700 calories can seem a lot. But to be honest with you, it's really not, especially if you change the food you're eating. It can actually almost be difficult to eat that many calories in one day. It can help you kind of establish how you want to get to that goal. You could gradually decrease your calories over a few months, but it is going to be the most realistic way to get to the weight you want to be. It's all about the math. If you think about it as well, things like Weight Watchers and Slimming World, they work, especially Weight Watchers. I'm not sure how Slimming World works, but Weight Watchers works on a point system, and depending on your height and weight, you get a points allowance, and the whole idea is if you eat that points allowance, you lose weight. I did it and it does work, but it's just the math. They've basically done the math for you, and the points is almost like a version of calories. Obviously, the more calories something is, the more points it is. It's just a different way of doing it and a more simplified way of doing it. So if you do really struggle, I would, you know, I would give Weight Watchers a go. I feel like there's a misconception about calories and about calorie counting and eating what some people might think is a low number of calories. The recommended calorie intake for a male and female is obviously very generalised. Women are different heights, men are different heights, and someone who is 6 foot tall shouldn't eat the same amount as someone who is 5 foot tall. It's just not going to happen. You know, there's not as much body to fuel and all that kind of thing. So I would be very cautious of eating the amount of calories recommended just because you're female, rather than looking into it in a BMI perspective, taking your height into consideration. After all that, I've decided to stick to 1700 calories. I didn't just decide that on a whim and just pick that number at random. I did look into it to see what it would look like to eat 1700 calories in a day, because obviously I want to do something that I feel like I'm going to be able to follow. Otherwise, all that's going to happen is I'll binge and I'll go around that cycle again, like I talked about the last time. So just to give you an idea, this is what a 1700 calorie a day diet would look like. So for breakfast, you'd have 2 scrambled eggs with a piece of toast. 2 scrambled eggs, 150 calories, 1 piece of toast, 71 calories. This is very general, but after looking into it, I'm pretty accurate. You'd have butter on your toast, which would be 45 calories. That's half fat butter. And you'd have a glass of orange juice, which would be around 132 calories. Then for your lunch, you would have a chicken, tomato, mayonnaise, lettuce and cheese wrap, which would be 409 calories. Then for your dinner, you would have pork, potato and some vegetables, which would be around 462 calories. With that, you could have like a glass of cider or a glass of wine, which would be about 120 calories. So that's just your main meals. They're very standard size meals. There's nothing small about them. There's no reason why I would think that I would starve on that kind of diet. Then for your snacks, you could have nuts, which is 168 calories, apple, which is 80 calories, and then some yogurt, which would be 118 calories. So that would mean that in that whole day you would have eaten 1,755 calories. That is a lot of food. Even sometimes I don't think I'd want to eat that much food. When you put it with eating healthier foods, it does make it seem a lot better. If I think about it, eating the kind of foods that I used to eat, it wouldn't seem like a lot of food. I would seem to starve. A chocolate bar can be a couple of 100 calories easily, which would replace, you know, your pork, which would be a main part of your meal. So already you're going over. If you eat 500 calories less a day than what you eat now, really speaking, you should lose about a pound a week. So, and 500 calories isn't a huge amount if you're eating unhealthy foods. Doing that really put it into perspective for me and made me think, yeah, that's something I can do, that's very sustainable, and it would be something I'm happy. Now that I've established all that, like I said, that really didn't take me that long at all, and I feel like it's something that you could easily do one night, one afternoon. Just go on your computer, go on your phone, look it all up. All you need to do is take some notes, and you'd easily be able to do all. Once you've done all that, then it's down to you as to how you want to do it. You could just literally count on your phone, or just keep a note of what you eat and how many calories. And I feel like that's something that you could do, but I feel like you'd have to have a lot of willpower, because it would be very easy to not keep up with. So I would recommend getting some sort of fitness planner. I mean, this fitness planner cost me £30, which I think is not that expensive. It's 12 months and it's laid out exactly how I want. Plus the fact it is, you know, it's a pretty planner, so that's a bonus. You could just have, like, this is a book I made, but you could just have a little notebook and just keep track of everything from the inside. But I would definitely recommend to have something which is paper and pen. This is the Me and My Big Ideas or Mumby Happy Planner, but it's the fitness version. It's 12 months and it's undated, so no excuse as to wait until January. It's definitely something that I was drawn to straight away. I got it from Hey Little Magpie. I didn't have to pay a lot for shipping, and as I said, it was only £30, so I think that's a pretty good price for it. So like I said, this is the planner. It's got like a hardback cover and it's got a arc system, which means that the pages can be easily taken in and out, which is great. And you've got this really nice quote, which is in the inside of the front, which is really nice. And then if you turn over the first page, you've got a tracker, and this is a 12-month tracker, which I think is brilliant. And I like the simplicity of this planner. I feel like it almost just does everything for you, so there is no excuse to, oh, I've got to do this first and I've got to do that first. It's already done. In here you can track your weight and you can do it once a month. And then, as I mentioned, I'm going to be doing measurements. I have taken all my measurements, which I've recorded here, just to kind of save time. I'll have them listed in the description box so that you can see all my measurements. When I redo them in a month's time, I will talk about them because it'll be something that I want to touch upon. But so you can track everything here, and then everything, as I said, is undated, so you've just got these dividers. They are mostly kind of just plain solid colours, but there is some kind of workout graphics in there, which is nice. It's not something that I feel like you should be bothered about, you know, it just kind of makes it a bit prettier, as I said. And then you've got your month on 2 pages, which if you want to use for anything you can. I personally don't really tend to use them. And then I'll show you on a blank page so you can see what it looks like. But this is what a week on 2 pages looks like. I'm going to fold it in half. So you can write your weekly goals here. Obviously, if you wanted to write something else here, you could. And then you've got notes. You've then got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on this page. You've got your breakfast, a snack, lunch, a snack, and then dinner. And then you can keep your calories total down here. Track any exercise you do. And you can also track your water. So it's very simple, and it's the exact same thing on the other side, just with Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and again you've got all that. So like I said, very, very, very simple, all laid out for you. This is why I feel like it's a good investment, but like I said, if you just want to get a notebook, keep track that you can. This was the first week in the planner. I basically wanted to start it the first week of September, even though it wasn't a full week. It did have a little bit of August, but it fully started on Saturday. And basically what I've been doing is tracking my food and then putting the calories and then my total calories down on the bottom. And it is as simple as that. This is a pretty big planner, and there's no way that I'd want to be carrying this around everywhere I go. And as I said, there's no excuses as to why you can't do this. So if you didn't want to get this planner, or you did want to get the planner but you wanted to be able to keep track of it when you're on the go, there's 2 apps that I wanted to talk about. The first app is MyFitnessPal. And basically what this is it's exactly the same as this planner, but on your mobile phone. It's completely free. There is a paid version if you wanted to upgrade it, but I do find that the free version is enough. And all you do is just track what you eat, and it does the calories for you. It's really good as well because it does have a lot of like shop food. So the other day I went to Greggs, able to type in exactly what I got from Greggs, and it come up with it. You've got your diary. It tells you your goal. So it has given me the goal of 1,780. And this is with me putting all my information in. So how much I weigh and my target. So it does agree with exactly what I think of me eating 1,700 calories. You can have this off, but because I have an iPhone, it does record my steps and it gives me extra calories for exercise. Basically, I am going to ignore that just because I feel like rewarding myself for exercise kind of counteracts it, especially at first. I am just concentrating on the amount of food that I'm eating and the amount of calories that I'm giving myself a day to do it. So you just press the button down here and then you can add anything that you want to. It's really simple. So say that I went to the cinema and had some popcorn, I could just go to food and go to snacks, for instance, search for it. So I could type in like Cineworld popcorn, and it comes up with loads of different ones, so I could just choose the relevant one. The other thing that I absolutely love about this app that just makes it so much easier to use is it does have a barcode scanner. So you just press that and you scan the barcode of the food you're going to be eating. I have tried it and it works. You can also change portion sizes and things like that if that's what you need to do, and it's just brilliant. It saves all your recent things as well, so that you can easily find stuff that you've eaten previously if that's what you need to do. It's just all around a good app. I feel like it's an app that loads of people know about. When you go to your diary, you can scroll down to the bottom and press nutrition, and it gives you the percentage of carbs, fat and protein that you should be eating in a day. So at the moment I am pretty much spot on. I'm just a little bit low on my protein. I would just need to up that a little bit, and also a little bit high on my fat. So I would need to eat a little bit more protein just to counteract that. So also just kind of, you know, if I'm a bit unsure about what I wanted to eat, I could just go on here, and if I'm low on carbs, I know that I can have some bread and pasta and potato and things like that. Whereas if I'm low on protein, I would have some eggs or things like that, or some corn. So it's really good, and it just gives you a lot of information on, and it also tells you where your calories are coming from. So there's just a lot of things that are very useful. I definitely recommend it. The next app, again, is free. It's called My Weight. And basically what this does is you put in all your information. So you put in your weight and your height, and it will give you a BMI. You also put in your target weight and when you want to reach that target weight. And again, it will tell you how many calories you should eat a day. This says 1,670. So again, basically everything is telling me around 1,700 calories. So I know that I'm pretty much right. And I have used this app before previously. That's why it says like my start weight is 13 stone 11, because I have used it before since last year. So I have had this app for quite a while, but I'm really going to utilize it now. It also tells you whether or not you've progressed more or more time has passed. So obviously at the moment a lot of time has gone, but I've not made a lot of progression. So I have also adjusted it because I've weighed myself. So as you can probably tell, I've already lost a little bit of weight, which is always great. And it also tells you your body fat, which is obviously a bit of a guess, but again, it does put things into a little bit of perspective. I think it's great. So I have put my target weight over here of 9 stone 7 pounds, and ideally I want to get there by April next year, which I think is pretty realistic. It's around £2 a week, which obviously at first you do tend to lose a little bit more than £2, so I do think that is ideal. Another thing that I just wanted to quickly touch upon is that this won't mean that I still can't enjoy certain food. If anything, it makes it so that I can enjoy pretty much any food that I want, as long as I control myself. If it means I have to weigh every single food I eat, I will weigh every single food I eat. I want to lose the weight, so that is no bother. I've got a cheap pair of scales in my kitchen which weigh everything perfectly fine, and just to put my plate or a bowl on it and just pour food out onto it really doesn't make my life that any more difficult. And obviously, you know, if you get packets of stuff, it's already portioned for you. So if I still want to have some Pringles, I can eat Pringles. I'll just weigh them out. It's just all about portion control and making sure that you've got a balanced diet. I can see how many calories pretty much anything I want is. Even if I hadn't have looked on that app to see how much calories things were in Greggs, it's all there. You can look up the calories of pretty much anything and plan out your meals. It's very, very simple. What I would do, and what I'm going to do, is I'm going to use this book and I'm going to write out all the meals that I would want to have roughly with all the calories, so I can plan out my days and I can plan out my meals. It won't take that long. I just think it's as simple as that. Obviously there will be days when I do eat less than 1,700. There'll be days when I eat more. When I say more, I just mean slightly more, like 1,750 or something like that. That's just the way it will be, which is fine. I'm gonna have bad weeks, I'm gonna have good weeks, and I'll be completely honest and obviously tell you exactly how much weight I've lost, if any, which hopefully there will be, but it would be unrealistic to say that I'm going to go from now until April without having any bad weeks. I have taken some pictures which I'll show you now. This I did front, side and back. This is the front picture, which I'll put here. It's definitely weird seeing a picture of myself, because I feel like seeing a picture really does make me realise how I actually look compared to when I look in the mirror. I feel like when I look in the mirror I can kind of ignore certain things, whereas with a picture it's just kind of all there. So that is the front picture. This is the side picture, which I absolutely hate, but you know, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm the one that got myself here, and I'm the one that's going to take myself away from there. I'm sorry if they're not very good. I didn't want to ask John to take them, and it was a lot more difficult than what I thought. And then this is the back picture, which again is what it is. I tried to kind of show my figure as much as possible so that you will hopefully be able to see a change in the next couple of months or so. So They are all the pictures, and obviously as the weeks go by they will be compared to each week as time goes on. So that is that. Another thing that I'll be doing, which I'm actually quite excited about, is that I know that there's going to, from the comments, there's people who are going through the same thing, and I'm sure that there's people who watched it who feel the same way. I will be doing videos every week explaining my progress and things like that. So obviously my next video will be my first official week of doing it. So what I've decided to do is go onto Snapchat and basically snap my meals. Anything I eat, I will snap. I'll also talk about things, show you recipes of like my favourite healthy foods and things like that. If I go out and buy food, I'll show you what I've bought, all that kind of stuff. So if you do want to follow me on Snapchat, I'll put my Snapchat name here. I'll also snap about, you know, I'll try and make it fun and snap about different things as well, but it will mainly just be to track it. So if it's something that you want to do with me, you can see the kind of foods I'm eating. If it's something that you kind of want to join with me on, or if you see me eating something and you want to know a little bit more about it, or you know, you've got a way to make it taste nicer, anything like that, you can let me know on Instagram or Twitter or something. I'll also be a lot more active on Instagram about it all, and I will put my progression pictures on there. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, my name will be here again. So make sure that you follow me on there. This video is going up on Wednesday, so from tomorrow I will officially start doing that. So it will be Thursday when I start. I really am excited about doing this. I feel like I've definitely got my head in the right place finally. I like the fact that my parents are excited for me, my sister's really excited for me. Like, it's just nice to be able to talk to people about this kind of thing and just know that they're genuinely supportive, and but not in a way that makes me feel like I've already done something. That's one thing that my dad has always said to me, that it's very easy to say to people, well, I'm going to lose weight. They congratulate you and you feel like you've done something when you haven't done it yet. They're congratulating you on something that you've not even achieved yet. So that's why I was really appreciative of the comments that were left, because I just feel like they were more supportive than anything else, which is exactly what I feel like I need right now. And I think that it is definitely easier said than done, but I feel like if you've got a plan and you've also got a way of tracking it, it's a lot easier to do it. So if I track my meals, and also if I snap my meals, I can't lie about it and I can't cheat my way out of it or anything like that, and it will give me the motivation to be stricter on myself, which is what I need. And it's just something that I want from, not only for myself but for everyone else around me, because obviously it can affect everyone. I want my daughter to like healthy foods and, you know, think about food in a positive way, and I want to think about food in a positive way. And if I get myself into a place where I'm happy, then I can eat the odd chocolate bar and not feel bad about it. At the moment I'll have a little bit, but obviously not as much as I normally would, and that's just the way it is. So I hope that this video has been helpful. If you do have any questions about anything I've talked about, then be sure to leave them in the comments and I'll answer them the best that I can. Obviously, as I said, I'm not a nutritionist, but you don't have to be a nutritionist to, you know, think about all these things. It is just, as I said, simple math. You can just look it all up online and all the information will be there. I'm sure if you went to the doctors, they'd give you the same information anyway. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.